All right. Y'all ready?
Yeah, man, let's get it over.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Nobody want to talk sports.
It's time for New Sports. Victor Allen's own Neil Urban look at sports. Written, directed, and produced by Victor Allen. Here's the man the ladies have nicknamed Sexual Chocolate. Here's Victor! Oh! Yeah!
I'd rather have a rapper introduce me, man. Somebody in hip hop, somebody.
That's kind of cold, man.
Dude, you're doing something.
That's kind of cold, man.
Yeah, if you
that's
heard,
old school.
You're very old. Check it out,
old
you guys.
School intro.
Welcome to New
I should have cut
Sports.
my ear.
I'm sorry, dude. Don't even do that, man. It's not worth it.
Don't they do the cup?
I don't do that. I used to think they were just getting a fly out of there. Hey, you guys, welcome to New Sports. This is how we do it. New Sports, we actually talk about a sports subject, but we try to figure out the social implications of what that topic is. Hence why we say New Sports, which is a spinoff of everybody has a new opinion, no matter how much you bring up a subject. Well, today it leads off with that famous name called Chad Johnson. Now, Chad, to me, and Terrell Owens are both seeking refuge in media sphere, the social sphere. They need to stay prevalent. Chad being 34 and Terrell Owens being, of course, next door to 40. Well, the latest incarnation is Chad Johnson gets a new tattoo of his estranged wife, Evelyn Losada. I just want to ask you guys, I'm just saying this, is this what they call an exercise in staying in the media? Or is this really true love by him actually putting this new
That's his first freak
on the leg while going through a divorce?
Yeah.
So you tell me, Mario, is
Therapy.
this true?
Needs an intervention. Therapy.
Come on now, wait a minute.
Either way, even if you work it out, therapy. Even if you make it work, therapy. Either way, get a good therapist. Deal with the whole issue of the broken heart. I believe in therapy, you guys. Do you know up 50% of people have a clinical depression?
Yeah,
but Vic.
I know.
I think Ocho Cinco and T.O. actually are more fragile. I think a lot of the players are more fragile than we give them credit for, you guys. And I really think we laugh a little bit, but you know how scary it is to be at the end of a career when this is how you I remember how bad I felt when I quit football in college.
Right.
And I wasn't even it wasn't even my life, and how bad I thought I had lost my leg, or just you lose everything. So I can't make light of how difficult, in a sense, it must be right now for T.O. and for Ocho Cinco, because those are the two we keep talking about. Well, but I worry about them a little bit sometimes.
Well, and I want you to understand, Mario, that's the part. You got your heart in the right place, and I think a lot of people do feel that way too. I actually sit there and feel the same way. Before I get to the question, the next question as it relates to what you are talking about, feeling for the brother and T.O., I just want to kind of take you back on a little short story. A lot of people actually may work 20 or 30 years. They may average $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year. And it will take them many, many, many years before they can get to a $5 million contract, $3 million contract, and multiple contracts that are re-signed, renegotiated. None of us really get to celebrate that we are now out of a job and stay in the media. With that being said, being in the media, I don't feel a damn bit of shame or sympathy at all for them, because I go like this.
Big is hard, man. Damn, big is hard.
I don't feel. Let me say this. I don't feel bad for them because they're doing their job. They're doing their job. It works.
Damn, Vic is hard.
I'm just.
You know what, Vic? I'm not even sure we looking at. What are we looking at?
That's Chad's leg.
What part of his leg?
That's his.
What's this other? I'm lost. I can't make up this anatomy.
Wait, it looks like it's an intersection of a knee and the beginning of a thigh, or the thigh shrinking from lack of mobility.
Oh, like a thigh. And this thing over here on the side is throwing me off.
So before I even get to that, see, you brought up.
How do you know he had it done now? How do you know it wasn't done?
It was reported as a new tattoo because he is displaying it on his body.
Well, okay, so fellas, forget it's Chad for a minute. So your boy breaks up. He's getting divorced from his woman.
Right.
And he goes out and tattoos her face on his leg.
So
does he need therapy or not?
I got one.
Do we go by his house? Everybody go over his house, ring the doorbell, we all standing there, right? You go into therapy. Why? Hey, what you mean? You going to therapy. We came to do an intervention on your ass because you going to therapy because you just tattooed on your leg a woman who's divorcing you and suing you. So we know that you are on the edge right now. We know that you are freaking out.
Or let me err to the side. Let me err to the side. See, I think the part that you have to consider is this. One, is he really media savvy? Because he has to stay pertinent. Let me just say that before you. Let me say that. I got a two-part question. One, media savvy means once you get out of that lane where they don't cover you, it is hard to get back.
No, you're right, but Vic, doesn't that see? I'm acknowledging that. So let's just say you do have all that media savvy.
Right.
It still taps in with your own psyche, right?
That's right. Now I believe
so it still starts to mix in and get weird on you.
Right.
In other words, it's almost like if I was to start getting weird on internet television, I would still be on internet television. I would say, well, I'm getting a little weird.
That's right.
But I'm saying that's what's happening. In other words, it's a combination.
Right.
So, yeah, it's going to be mixed in to me.
That's right.
With the reality, and that's what actually makes it a little scary. Because you start to lose. Can you imagine how you must start losing it might start to feel weird what's real and what ain't real.
Well, I think,
don't you think you would start getting weird like that if your relationships in public, your woman's in public, your kid, your mama in public? After a while, you're like, damn, what is the world?
It's like too much. That's too much.
It's too much. Yeah, so I would start getting weird.
Now, let me watch this. I got a two-parter here. Number one, let's just think of this right now. Wonder if he's really in love.
That just makes it worse.
Okay, now wait a minute.
I think he is in love.
Okay, now so
I think he is.
So here goes the next question. I got another one before I get to the next question.
Okay.
If it is really love, is this tattoo a henna tattoo or permanent?
Oh, that's fucked up. So let's tell you how Vic is trying to make it even seem nuttier. Okay, saying. I get it. So let me size it up. Option number 2. Chad is in love, but he's such an idiot and a nut that he goes and gets a fake tattoo. Because now remember, we know some, right? Y'all know, PMC, you know some.
Right.
Mac too.
Right.
They so stupid, but they are in love, but then they go out and get a tattoo, but they go get a fake tattoo because they are idiots.
Now, here's the story. Watch this, you guys. I call it living the life cycle of staying in the media. There's progressions and milestones. So if it is henna and or not permanent, then the life cycle of the story continues. So what you really want to give Chad is he that good or is he suffering? Now I'm going to say this.
I think he's suffering either way.
Wait, let me say this because I got one for you because everybody does this. Why are we reserving to get all involved in the athlete's mentality and the connectivity to what they're doing? In other words, crazy mofos, as Mac would say in Port Townsend,
Washington. Great name for a show.
So let me just say this, Mario.
Crazy mofo.
You work and you come home and you just say, look, I'm coming home, got work. Do you worry about anybody that you work with at all? You don't worry about people you work with, do you?
No.
Okay, now watch this.
Empress DeVoe.
No, I'm talking about I'm talking about the other industry.
Empress DeVoe.
Okay, so let me say this.
I'm just kidding.
Wait a minute. Let me just say this.
I'm just kidding, DeVoe.
Don't you work with some crazy folks somewhere in the room?
Yeah.
Do you feel sorry
Empress
for them?
DeVoe.
No. Do you feel sorry for them?
No.
Okay, so why are you feeling sorry for Chad?
I didn't say I was feeling sorry for Chad. I said I could feel sorry for Chad.
You don't.
Well, I guess I just have to feel sorry for Chad in a general sense, not in a specific. Like the way I feel sad for all dum dums.
See,
because you just imagine I feel sad. I say no, but some dumb. I say you dumb. You gonna go through life bouncing off the walls like a pinball. No. Nothing planned. Just ping, 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 ping.
Now let me ask you this.
Some of them are like that. So I feel sad. Like I feel sad for people who continually make bad mistakes.
Now let me watch
stupid decisions.
Watch this. See, I love this part. The part is that you sit there and go like, you feel sorry. We actually have a crisis when it deals with folks who can't afford to get help. Can Chad go out and afford to get help?
Yeah, he can afford it. They got better health insurance than y'all got. They got better health insurance than Mac.
Right.
And me too.
Right. So here's my
PMC
here's my
too.
point.
We wish we had his package.
I don't feel sorry for him because one, I think it's his job to do what he's doing. Two, if we had to do an appraisal of all the people we work with, a lot of people are going to get shocked at how many crazy people are working around you. So you don't feel
true.
sorry
We
for
got
them.
a bunch over here. I won't name no names.
You don't feel
They're crazy.
No one feels sorry for. Wait a minute. Let me give you an idea. Watch this. Try to use this argument. There are women right now who are going like, Chad is crazy, but Chad is paid.
Well, they married Chad. You want to go out with a date with Chad?
But Chad is paid.
So they will go out.
Right. Now watch this. Victor is smart, but he's broke. So who should you feel sorry for?
They'll ask, they'll go, well, how big is his penis?
So
after that, you still might get a date.
Wait a minute, so my question.
If he has, they want to know about the money, car, house, and penis.
Right.
But not in that order.
Right. If I walk into a room and I'm no one, I'm nobody, and Chad's over there and he's going, look, I'm still looking for a job, but I'm media savvy and I got a henna or permanent tattoo on my leg. The women will rush to crowd around him, even though I can bring them wisdom and say, you guys, you know what? You need to be smarter. Who's going to get more attention? Me trying to educate them or Chad in the room?
Chad.
Thank you. Smart cat. I give him.
And when a bunch of women won't care about that tattoo, I just think a woman might say, damn, Chad, when I see that tattoo, it makes me feel like Evelyn's watching everything we're doing.
See, that's what I'm saying.
I kind of like it now.
I say this is the part where Chad, I think, is a little bit more. He's more there than Terrell Owens. Terrell doesn't have that Chad thing.
Neither of them seem to be that charming with women, no offense.
Right.
Neither one of them, no offense, come off like a player.
No. Everybody
They're not player. They're a little too raw and say kind of stupid stuff.
I say this all the time. Everybody says policemen have to have a certain mentality. Football players have to have a certain mentality. I just sit there and say,
how about on-air hosts? What about on-air hosts? They get to be just loving, kind.
I don't feel sorry for them. Money is not the cure to all ills. But they have choices, and if you go check their bank accounts, they have multiple zeros behind those dollar signs.
I bet they do.
All right, well, let's take it to the next one. All right, we're about to go to the next story. This one is a good one because I always say that when you look at the steroid era and it deal with Lance Armstrong, you have to stop and say there's a fight going on right now, and it's coming from a direction I didn't think would come from. Maury, imagine California lawmakers target the USADA after Armstrong sanctions, meaning they're basically saying the process and how they made their determination to sanction this man, remove all his tour titles and everything else was based on no actual data, which is, to your point, Mario, you say it all the time. Eyewitness, accounts are not that reliable. And
well, it's just also it really has a lot to do with who has jurisdiction. Remember, when someone gives out say you and I decide tomorrow to invent the Pax Stereo Awards, and then we give the Pax Stereo Awards out for 5 years. Right. Then on the 6th year, we give out the Pax Stereo Award, and then we say, well, we don't like the person, we're taking it back.
Right.
And they say, well, you don't have the right to do that. And we go like, we made up the damn award.
That's right.
Okay, so that's what you're dealing with.
Right, of course.
So the governing agencies never were official legal bodies of any kind. It's like when you say, who determines the NFL commissioner rights?
Right.
The NFL determined because it's their game. It's not like their Congress.
Right.
It's not a law. This is a agreement amongst contracting parties.
Absolutely.
So you can't sue them like it's the government.
Right.
And what he's trying to do was question their authority, but it really to me is bad because after all, it still comes back to the fact that everybody, when you talk to it, says not only did he dope, but everybody in the whole thing dopes.
Right.
They all dope.
Right.
And then he did a lot for raising money for cancers, and therefore being politically connected. So therefore, there are people who are connected in politically that it would behoove them to attempt to defend him. So to me, that seems a little bit sad. The whole thing. The question is, did you dope or did you not dope? I watched the interviews of the people. When your boy, see what's so bad about Armstrong is his boy, not strangers. His ace buddy says, I sat there and we did it together all the time.
Why did he have to say that? Why did he have to say that? This is the Kobe thing right now. This is where you sit back and throw your man under the bus.
Well, he didn't have to say it. He didn't.
What? Oh, so why is he doing it?
He's trying to seek to make things better for himself.
And why is he seeking? to make things better?
Because he's also being kicked out by the. So now my thing is, see what happens when you look at things, it becomes an issue is who's most likely to be lying. You see what I'm saying? That's right. And some things look very obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's likely. Do we think your friend of 20-some, 30, whatever years would just lie, even if he had an incentive to lie? Well, some would.
Right.
But when they give out this degree of depth and it's corroborated by everybody else, at some point you say, okay, your mama say you lying, your sister say you lying, your last 3 mates. So now, you say you ain't lying. Who we supposed to believe?
I sit there and say Roger Clemens did this song and dance.
Who believes him?
And did he get off?
See, remember now. Remember now. It has to do with how you define getting off.
Right.
Because
perjury is different.
No, it's actually because what happened. I disagree with that. What they attempt to do now, and we said it before.
Right.
When they can't get you for the crime, they try to get you for lying.
That's right.
So the whole thing is to try to get you indicted.
Right.
If they can get you indicted,
one way or the
then
other.
they can feel like they're going to get you one way or the other. Either in the thing or you lying about the thing.
I have a problem with one thing. I'm not trying to defend or try to deny whether Armstrong is guilty or not. I'm not looking at that. What I'm looking at is that if the eyewitnesses are not being indicted themselves and not guilty and trying to strive for a lesser sentence or penalty, and there's just no, we just want you to come up here and say what you know. And I said, well, wait a minute. I've been part of teams, and no one said, well, you're not guilty of anything. And you said, oh, I'm a volunteer and throw him under the bus. And I said, but there's nothing hanging over your head. So to me, I believe something's hanging over their head.
But on the other hand, let me play the other's devil's advocate. If we have to wait for someone to have a moment of conscience, to do it just out of the sheer blue sky.
They wait for Armstrong to
I'm
be
just
guilty.
saying, if you have to wait for that to have the testimonial, there'll be no testimonial.
So
in other words, the problem is, and this comes in the law. When someone calls on or turns in a known criminal, how often is that a known criminal who's turning them in?
I understand.
So if you throw out those people, you have no witnesses.
And all I get into is one thing. You can't bring consciousness to me when you actually say, I wait for somebody else to be the bedrock of guilt and attack, whether it's guilty or not. And then I come up. I said, well, why'd your conscience take a hell of a break?
No, but that's the way they usually do it. That's the way the law is done.
No.
They usually get you?
No, Mario, I'm not talking about how the law. I'm talking about, I like what you do, Mario. You said, I stick with a focus of spirituality, upliftment, and empowerment. You don't delay it. You don't put it off. When people come up like this and say, well, I waited 10 years.
No, I'm not. I'm saying that usually, almost always, you get an indictment is because of another guilty person. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know.
So there is no indictments that come up where the people come up and they have a wonderful past. It always is going to
complicit
be
to
someone. So if you try to say it has to be someone who doesn't have a reason for doing it, you won't get anybody.
So the part that
in other words, unfortunately, it's always a bad person
all are guilty.
Who's throwing the ones under the tank.
It's less guilty versus most guilty.
Well, it depends what you want. In other words, isn't that how you take down the mafia? You bust the mafia dude at this level, and he turns into big fish. It's just a standard way that they use in law enforcement. Because they would never get the big criminals.
And everybody knows federal always goes get the data first and say, now we go and say, here what we've collected. Now then they talk to you. It's a little different approach. So they get their data. So that
or if you want to get doping people who are doping, don't you try to get the one who's weakest in the group, who's not as up to who does it. So therefore, that is just the way you go after them. So it always comes off feeling a little dirty.
And now it gets to my moment here at WADA. I like that name when they say WADA, World. Well, I don't even give them credit. After Armstrong sanctions, Armstrong is sitting there saying, this is California lawmakers. Are the California lawmakers, wait a minute, is the enemy of my enemy my new friend? Because if they're stepping up, well, we both know how politics roll, Mario, and obviously it's a political year, and also it's a political environment. Do you believe the California lawmakers are going, Armstrong, we're your friend. We don't like that process. And if we go by what we say they rule in their own jurisdiction of what they govern, what are the California lawmakers demonstrating here? truly,
their willingness to do a dog and pony show. What's amazing, it's not new. Regularly, you have legislation that's proposed that's obviously not. The Constitution is not going to allow it. Okay, that's right. Obviously that can't pass the scrutiny. Right. And they're lawyers. Mm-hmm. These are lawyers who actively. So then you say, why would a lawyer propose something that he knows is totally unconstitutional, will never pass?
Right.
Because he wants to be seen by you.
Right.
As being a champion of your cause.
That's right.
He wants to make a public display by proposing a law he knows is unconstitutional. That'll never fly.
Right.
But he can then act that way, act up in public, point to it and say, look what I tried to do. I tried to pass an unconstitutional law because I support you. And that's what they do. It's what I call the dog and pony show.
So Lance should sit back and say, well, the enemy of my enemy is not my friend. Neither one are, because they're involved in their own special interests. And it's not for the care and concern of me being misrepresented or otherwise.
I think Lance is doing I don't think Lance knows what he's doing. He's backed off. He has no legal recourse. He's been told that.
Right.
He could try to make a new legal recourse
right.
at the expense of much publicity.
Yeah.
And no one believes. Here's what the polls sort of say. And he may know the answers. People mostly believe he's guilty. They just don't care. That's kind of like what the polls are saying. In other words, they're not saying you're innocent.
Right.
Same thing with baseball. They think the athletes are using.
Right.
They just mostly don't care.
And so the question you just answered is that this is an example of the enemy of my enemy. Neither one of them are my friend. Because there's nothing here but just a demonstration.
Right.
Toe tapping. Tap
yes, and it really looks bad for everybody, doesn't it?
Okay, all right. Well, you know what? That was our downer moment. I think the Chad moment.
Mine was way worse.
No, that's
damn. That's all you got.
That's the downer moment. As it get? Because I wanted people to understand that people, at the sake of what your value is, will go out and say, "My interest and why I'm representing you has nothing to do with me representing you." That's the message here.
Well, yeah, that's the truth, and they will pimp you. But think how they go and pull that in politics. Like they pull you in and say, "Look, here's Joe Plummer."
Shit. Now, I want you guys to know this. Mario right now is in a critical mass situation. I'm going to have to make sure that he stays on point.
I just spilled my soda.
Because he spilled his soda live on internet television. So I want you guys
napkins.
I want you guys to do this right now.
I got napkins.
What score do you want to give Mario?
9.5.
for spilling his drink around electronic equipment. 1 to 10, 10 being stupid. Wait a minute. 1 being mildly okay. 10 being outrageously dumb. Come on, PMC, give me a vote before I go to my next subject. I just want to see.
PMC, no.
Give me a vote.
I saw Mac McAllister dropped his whole laptop. Mac McAllister had his laptop on his lap. Dropped his laptop so we get a flash. He knows. I remember Mac. You remember that day, Mac?
Sir, wait a minute. Brandy had the real traffic. You know, Brandy, I'm seeing you. You're right. Man, I feel bad for you because your coffee did drop on your computer and on your keyboards, and it was never the same. And it was on that apple, that beautiful apple.
I thought apples are indestructible.
Well, they are, depending on what type of apple you get. Oh, you're talking about the kind that's a computer. I thought you was talking about something else. All right, you guys, let me set up the next story while Mario gets cleaned up. You guys are killing me. Oh, PMC dropped a 10 on you, dude. That means you were terribly irresponsible.
They know how to spill shit.
You were
And check what I was drinking. I was drinking
Wait.
Jarritos lime soda.
You just gave him a plug.
See, out here, y'all don't know down here in Los Angeles, we have a lot of Mexican products. It's made in Mexico. It's Jarritos lime soda. Pa toda mi gente.
See.
Latinos. Venga. Por favor, venga.
Now, what we call that is a rescue mission. Not only do you sit there and save your equipment, but you get an endorsement in and a drop and a shout out.
In Spanish.
Right. I got to give you a 10.
I love the Latinas.
So, PMC, I was going with you with that 10, but he made up for it, so I give him about a 3. All right, we're going to go. God, that's wrong, dude. You good now? You're not sticky?
Yeah, no, I'm sticky.
All right. All right, we're going to go over to this is the subject I can't wait because I think it's hard for people to try to envision what's coming. Recently, Redskins wide receiver Josh Morgan says RG3 is Vic, Peyton, and Brady in one. I call him Predator QB3, super quarterback of the future. I think it's going to be hard for people to kind of envision what that means.
I'm rooting for him.
I think right now, when we went from the Vic era, the Randall Cunningham era, all those eras where they had these fleet-footed quarterbacks who just had escapability, that was one thing. But this guy's IQ is off the chain. 2, mentally he's focused and humbled. And also, he knows the quarterback position. He's a pocket quarterback, and he's amazingly fast and quick. So with that in mind, I saw Cam Newton last year destroy the rookie records as it relates to Peyton Manning. Cam is the model big quarterback. But now you got somebody who's bigger than Vic, lighter than Cam, IQ off the chain, more accurate, fast. So for me, I'm going, if it's not him, he is what I call one of the models of the future as it relates to how quarterbacks are going to be measured, because now they're tapping into all of his abilities, and that's not blocking his accuracy as being a traditional quarterback. I look at him as the Predator QB3. What do you think, Mario?
I think it's a wonderful situation. It's one of the most exciting situations of this upcoming year. And I think part of it to me, Vic, and it's actually, when I think about it now, it represents one of the great challenges this season for the Redskins, is whether or not it's going to validate Shanahan.
Right.
Here's the guy who coached Elway.
Right.
So on the surface, you think it should be good for,
right.
RG3. Because here's the guy, he's known as a quarterback's coach.
Right.
Even though he's known to challenge the quarterback. You cannot be his quarterback and not have certain things. It's not going to happen.
Right.
You got to be, and he prizes that thing. It's amazing that Rex Grossman has become such a different person from the days that we knew him before in Chicago.
That's right.
But having said all that, in some ways, to me, because of Shanahan's recent problems and issues with getting the Redskins going, I think in the Washington area, this is more or less viewed as a question of Shanahan's ability.
True.
Like, if you can't win with him, now you got this quarterback, Mike. So if you don't win now with RG3, you're going to have a problem from folks in the D.C. area.
Well, one thing we have with Shanahan, he knows what it's like to be with a winning quarterback.
Exactly.
So we're not talking about a guy who goes like, I have no experience with having somebody extremely talented. Now, you're talking about Elway and knowing how to work with somebody who just was a different quarterback and and one of those tougher quarterbacks who could run but wanted to throw all the time. His escapability was off the chain. Sometimes could be considered like a Favre-like recklessness.
Elway may be the most elegant running, scrambling abilities since Archie Manning. Because Archie Manning, to me, to tell you the truth, was the one who first demonstrated, the father of Peyton. And Eli, their father, when he played for New Orleans, was almost elegant in his ability to scramble and make the pass. So Archie Manning was one of the original ones like that.
I think the part that's happening is you look at the prototypes, even when you look at Brady, you can say Tom Brady, you look at Andrew Luck and say Andrew Luck is more in the mode of Tom Brady. I said maybe, but Andrew Luck is really in the next mode because he's a runner. He's
great
big,
to watch it because he's already looks like a pro. See, and they talk about Barkley, Matt Barkley from USC the same way. He already looks like a pro when you stick him in there and run the offense. He looks too advanced, too comfortable. He's more used to everything, so it's a whole different way he's coming in, and a credit to his the coaches,
And my whole point is I just see the evolution of the athletic quarterback not having the same kind of what they call evaluation. When they're athletic, they're this. Well, RG3 may be the blessing. Whether he is that successful, he is what they call, I'm not trying to use my athleticism to prove that I can throw. I throw to prove my athleticism, and I look at it that way. So while no disrespect to his name, I do think when I say QB3, I think quarterbacks went through evolutions. I think the first stage quarterback was traditional, pocket passer. The second stage, they tickled with one that had speed in lieu of maybe not being as accurate. Then third, which I put him in, is
the first
IQ.
One of the new group, right?
Yeah. I put him in that.
Are you saying? Are you saying Cameron
I'm saying
Cameron is going.
I'm saying Cameron is. I'm only reason you talking about Cam Newton.
Excuse me, Cam Newton.
Yeah, Cam Newton.
Is he the first? Is he the first one, or which group are you putting him in now?
I'm putting him still in 2 and almost a 3. Only reason why it's different with Cam, he didn't come out of the college arena, so to speak, being that great accurate thrower. He came through Auburn being like, you can't stop me when I'm running. Now, that was it. I mean, he really didn't.
Yeah, he threw just enough. I mean, he threw enough, but it wasn't the biggest part of it.
You're talking about watching.
That's why no one was thinking he would do this.
Right. Baylor, when you watch Baylor, you watch this guy throw accurate passes over and over again. And then all of a sudden the elusiveness came in the speed. His IQ, his accuracy, his pocket passes. So I think he's the next evolution. But after that, it could be the body of a Cam Newton with the accuracy of an RG3 and all the Peyton-ness and Brady. I think that's the next evolution. So I'm just giving him my QB3. Not to change RG3. I'm just saying the standard him. I can't wait to watch him. That's all I'm saying. That's it. Now, Mario, we didn't do something here, and I have to go back. We got to rate our stories quickly, and let's take them through the rating, which is each story gets ballin', big pimpin', whatever, let down, upset, AARP, or something for the ladies. So we're going to start with Chad. Now, Mario.
It's something for the ladies and it's AARP.
That's cool.
See, it's something for the ladies because women go, you idiot, but you gave in.
Oh, wait a minute.
And then AARP is because, unfortunately, he's doing it because he's getting older.
34 is AARP in football years.
No, but this is the first sign of that mentality that hits you,
right,
Chad, as one who's 56.
Right.
You just showed your first glimpse of a 56-year-old mentality when you did this. So we are all the other older fellas are all going like this, Chad. Look.
That's wrong. Wait a minute.
We're not even saying that. We're not going to dish you all that. All we're going to do is do this, Chad.
That's cool. Well, I feel a little bit different. Now, Mario's right. Let me give you my spin on it. If anybody ever take an interest in me and I can stay in the front zone of consideration in an alternative way, outside of what I do as my job, and stay media, which is revenue and interest and other projects, all I realized is that when I didn't work my job before, I just got a slip. Nobody felt sorry for me. Nobody said, oh, let's cover your story. Nobody even gave a I won't say the word. They didn't give a thought. So he's big pimping as far as I'm concerned because he's keeping himself media savvy. Why he's in a divorce? Why he's sitting up here going like, I'm not even playing. So I'm going, dude, even if you are dumb for what you're doing, you're staying in the news. Big pimping.
I don't have the proper side on my team.
That's it. No, that's okay. You're too late. I'm going to the next one. Now, see, you're too late. Timing is everything, man.
That's what I wanted. Ting.
Okay. This is going to be easy. California lawmakers, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. We just realized Lance has no friends when it comes to the powers that be. So is this story, ballin', big pimpin', whatever, let down, something for the ladies, AARP, whatever, upset.
It's not positive.
It's not. Whatever.
No, that implies it to be
let down.
Let down.
I know it. Let down. This
Whatever's too neutral.
No, but I'm going to give him...
No, because he's bad, and you know what? He's done good things, right? In other words, so complex people.
Right.
He's done some very good things for some good causes.
Right.
That doesn't change who you are often at home.
That's right.
With other things.
Right. And since this story is not generated by Lance, I would say somewhere along the way somebody said, here's a story, and it obviously was furthered along by the California lawmakers. So somewhere in that camp, they said, we need to get you prevalent. We're going to have the California lawmakers. And in the story, you get to see their names. I said, this wasn't executed by the Armstrong camp. It had to be executed by those lawmakers.
Pimp.
In a political climate.
Pimp.
I say let down. Yeah. It's too obvious what you're trying to do.
Yeah, somebody's pimping somebody.
You're trying to get some ink. You wasn't rushing towards him at the time when he was going through all this. You waited for this sanctions decision on his behalf to say, I'm not going to fight it. Now you're the rescue mission. It's a letdown. Yeah. Letdown. All right, let's go to RG3. Just gave you what Josh Morgan said about him. 3-1. Peyton, Brady, and Vic. This is simple, Mario. Baller.
Balling. Big pimping. Something for the ladies. He's the man.
He's the man. And you give him you give him a ping.
Crowd.
Okay.
Crowd, sir. RG.
That's the RG3. Predator QB3. That's it, man. My new sports is done. I want to go. I got this wave.
Man, that's Victor Allen, new sports. Hot, heavy, written, produced by the bald-headed black man. That's right, the one the ladies call sex chocolate. Yay, we. Oh.